Okay, we are back with the 5 p.m. turn of Sedgwick Attacks, part of the Blind Sword system. So where we left off here was with Sedgwick's units pushing down the plank road, as you can see here, particularly to the north of the plank road, pushing the Confederates, Wilcox and Mahone, back into the woods and eventually back into their entrenchments. They do have a good line to the north, just outside their trenches, even though some of their units are battle worn, but some of them are still in good strength up here and in a good position to block the Union advance, at least for the moment. From the Union perspective, their advance has been good, but not without casualties themselves. You can see there's some reduced units, broken units here, shaken units over here as well. That will need to recover. So the way it's looking here, we've got Brown to the north, then Brown with an E in the middle, along with Russell. Bartlett, after recovering last turn, is now sitting in reserve a little bit, and Wheaton is down here protecting the south, and then the artillery is in the back. So with that introduction, we will get started here with the artillery phase. With the artillery, the Union is going to start moving up the artillery a little bit. So this one, Williston, comes up. He's a smooth bore, so he's moving up close in to potentially fire at units. And then Cobb over here passes. He's in good position, doesn't need to do anything. We've got our next one is going to be Parson. He's going to move down to the south, down here to cover Wheaton's 2 units down there to the south, and then Rigby is going to just move down a couple hexes to cover the north. So that's all for the artillery, just a little bit of movement. And now for the first chit pull, it's a rally for the Union. So the Union's going to attempt to rally. It's going to try to rally the 96th PA right here, who's reduced. So they are going to have a chance of recovering with a 4 or greater. The rally chit gives a +2 to the cohesion, so it'll be 4 or greater to attempt to recover. And they are going to roll a 1 and they recover back up. So they move back up to full strength, and they're back ready to fight again. Next pull is Brooks, and Brooks rolls, he activates, and it's going to be Bartlett to attack. So Bartlett, who is in the reserve back here recovering, is now going to take all his fresh units and move into attack. Now he's not close enough to shoot at anybody, so he's going to move forward and go after Wilcox, his units up here, with his units there. So the next movement is this, and then the third and final movement is that. So this is what the attack's going to look like. Is 5th Maine, 121st New York, 16th New York are going to go against the Alabamans, 10th, 14th, and 1 battalion of the 9A, or 9th Alabama. So they're first going to get defensive fire here, and they fired all individually, but they were all misses. So we're just going to kind of go through those quickly. They were just all misses. There's that. And then the Union is going to choose them as their lead unit, so that's going to be attack of 11, strength of 11, plus Bartlett is chipping in there, making 19, so that's going to be against 10, so they're going to get a little bit of a bonus there, plus cohesion and things like that. So they eventually go up a couple of columns on there to about the 14, I believe, and they roll, and they get a 1-1. That's not good. With that overwhelming strength, they are still kind of get a bad roll. So it's going to be a close fight, and And that turns into a 64, which is a little bit better for the Union. They deplete a Confederate unit, and then all the units have to retreat 1 hex. They deplete the 10th, and then everybody moves back into the trenches over there. So it was a close fight. Union prevailed briefly, and now they're going to advance that stack into them, the 5th Maine and 121st into the hex with them. So that was an interesting little fight. Confederates still being pushed back, still being reduced, which is good for the Union, bad for the Confederates. So the next one is actually a Union chit draw, and it's going to be the Huzzah. So with that, they're going to try to continue, follow up the attack with the 5th Maine, 121st New York, going against them. That same stack. This time, I believe there we go. They just go with 1 defensive fire from the Confederates, because it's only 7 with a -2. So that gives them a 13, which is a miss. Now the Union attacks again with 11 against 7, still a 3-2, but now they get the improved works there. Cohesion, so they roll a 22, which I think just again was I think it was a routine. Yeah, it was just a routine, and winds up with just retreating them 1 more hex. Oh, and they were shaken. Sorry, so they were shaken as well. They didn't retreat; they were shaken. With a routine, 2 and a 1 is yes, no depletion and a morale hit. Sorry about that. Mixing up my results here. So the Huzzah didn't work out for them that well. Wilcox units held out once they were behind the improved positions. So the next shit out is Brooks again, and he activates. This time he's going to pick up Brown to defend. So they're going to defend, hopefully get this guy back in good order. That was I believe that was the intent there. A little movement first because there was no firing, and the morale hit's reduced. Okay. And now the next shit out is the Fog of War. We'll roll a dice on that one. It's a 5, potential casualty. Rolls a 43, which is nobody. Okay, next one out is Newton. Newton rolls a 6, he fails. So that's either going to be Brown or Wheaton. And that's going to be, I believe we chose Wheaton on that one. Yes, Wheaton is activated, so nobody in front of him, so nothing to shoot at. So on to the next chit. Command event, we'll see that one later. And oh, we got the Fortunes of War, sorry. We had the Fortunes of War. Let me back that up a second. We got the Fortune of War, and then what was drawn was a CSA chit, and that was placed out on the track. That's what we're looking at there. Then the next one is Brooks again. Brooks rolls, he fails. So I think all we have left on there is Russell. Yeah, Russell's the only one left. So Russell is going to activate. Now Russell is right here. There's nobody in front of him, so there'll be no shooting. And on we go to the next chit. Next chit is Union event. And then we get Sedgwick again. Sedgwick rolls a 2. And he activates. Now I believe he activates Bartlett again. They're going to move back. Oh yeah, they activated Bartlett to defend. That first shot was was their defensive fire shot. It was a miss. Confederates take a shot with them as well, and they miss. No, they do hit, sorry. They do hit, and it's a retreat. Alright, so they retreated back to there, which is what they were going to do anyways. Next chit drawn is Wilcox Commander. And he rolls a 2. And he's going to activate his units. They're going to move back into the improved positions. And then Cobb is going to move, and then the skirmishers are going to move up out onto the flank to protect the flank there. Okay. Next chit is Wilcox, the brigade. So he rolls a 2. And he activates. Alright, and he is going to, let's just take a look here. No, we didn't mark it. He, I believe, is going to regroup. I believe we'll see him trying to regroup. Yeah, he's regrouping these guys here. They just moved back. And he gets 1 unit. But that's all he gets. So 14th Alabama returns. 10th and 9th Battalion is still battle worn. Okay, so they're trying to regroup for the onset of the Union thrust really gets going. So next one is a USA Command chit. It's Heroic Stand. I'm going to place that on this guy right here. That's the 95th Pennsylvania. Because we don't have anything, I don't think we have anything left to play. Oh, we do have Brown to play, but he is back here. I don't think he can get in position to do much attacking. So next chit we get is going to be McLaws. And his first activation fails. And I believe they picked Kershaw. Yep, Kershaw. Kershaw is the one down to the south here. Doesn't activate. Staying put. He's in a good defensive position. Next is Newton. He gets a 1. He activates. That's going to be Brown now. Brown with an E. His activation is going to be a defend, which all he's going to do is move up that 1 shaken unit and then get him back in good order. There we go. So now he's back in good order, and that's Brown with an E. CSA gets command chit, good ground, places it up there. McLaws again. McLaws rolls a 4, fails again on an activation, and now he chooses Sims to activate. And Sims doesn't have anybody in front of him. He doesn't take any shots. Okay, next one, McLaws. McLaws rolls another 5. This time it's going to be Wooford. And then he's the last one in the cup. Notice the cup's empty over here. So he rolls again, rolls a 4, and they fail as well. So basically all of McLaws' units do not activate this turn. So then we've got some last chits over here. Rebel Fatigue, which is not going to have any effect. And we take off the Heroic Stand. So that's all done. The good ground is all done. And now we reset our commands, and we are done with the turn. Now we move on reinforcements. Confederates get artillery this turn. They get a bunch of artillery. There's 6 artillery units moving up to help them defensively here in the future. And there we have it. That is turn 4. So a little bit of a regrouping, a little bit of a pause or a lull in our battle with this. We can see the units did not move much. A lot of regrouping, a lot of reorganizing. Didn't get a lot of activations in there. A little bit of attacking. to push Wilcox back behind the improved positions, but then they adjusted over here to cover while they recovered. So still in a decent position here to defend Salem Church and the Victory Hexes, as well as Sedgwick is consolidating his units a little bit here to attack to the north of the Plank Road and try to push in and around the Confederates. So that is the 5 p.m. turn. If you like it, please like us and comment and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next turn, which will be 5:20 turn.